Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Friday, the end of another week, and just 24 hours or so before the Premier League returns. Unfortunately, we have to wait a little bit longer for Arsenal because they are playing at Palace on Monday night, but we've already spoken to Mikel Arteta. That was yesterday. Apologies, no video from me yesterday. Just a really busy day. Couldn't quite fit it in with everything that was going on. I'm sure you've seen a lot of what Mikel Arteta spoke about. I will discuss team news, that sort of thing. Look ahead to the Palace game in this video. Look at who might start in that match. But I wanted to start today's video on Youri Tielemans. Now, I reported, I don't even know when it was a while back, it must have been a couple of months ago now, that Arsenal are interested in Youri Tielemans this summer. He's a potential, he's on the list of targets for that midfield slot. I'm not saying they're going to sign him or anything, but he is a player they are interested in. I reported that they had held talks with his agent at the training ground. I think it might even have been in January, but it was never really about a January move. It was about sort of the summer, and now Arsenal aren't alone when it comes to their interest in Youri Tielemans. His agent has been kind of doing the rounds, talking to interested parties, because it's pretty known around football circles that he is going to be moving this summer. It looks very, very unlikely he's going to sign a new contract with Leicester. We only have a year left when it comes to the summer, and he will be most likely on the move. Leicester pretty aware that they're going to probably have to let him go. So the agent has been sort of sizing up the possibilities about who's interested, where he might go, and Arsenal are one of the clubs who will be contemplating making a firm offer for Youri Tielemans. Now, the interesting thing is John Percy, Telegraph reporter, brilliant reporter, so well connected up and around the Midlands. He's a Midlands correspondent for the Telegraph. He reported yesterday that Leicester potentially would be willing to accept £25 million for Youri Tielemans in the summer, given his contract situation. Now, obviously, that's come from contacts that John's been speaking to. Whether that ends up being the case, we'll have to wait and see, because you would think if there's several interested parties in Tielemans, which you imagine there probably will be, that would drive the price up, because Leicester will be able to say, well, they're offering so-and-so, they're offering so-and-so, and so on. So you'd imagine that might go up. But if that is the figure that they would be willing to accept, and you can get him for that price, for me, I have to say that would be an absolute bargain. Now, I've been interested by quite a bit of the response to the Youri Tielemans to Arsenal chat. It seems like there's quite a bit of negativity around, certainly on social media. And I know you can't always gauge opinion on social media, but quite a lot of people seem to be against the idea of Arsenal signing Youri Tielemans. I don't really understand that. I think the main sort of points that people worry about is his engine, his ability to sort of get back when he loses possession. Sometimes he appears a little bit sluggish. A lot of people point to that Tottenham game when he gave the ball away from the kickoff, and Tottenham went down and scored the winner last month, and that sort of highlighted his struggles to get back. And when you look at that, and they are definitely, there are some issues there. I do agree with that. But I think when you look at Youri Tielemans, you look at his age, you look at his talent, you kind of look at where he might fit into the Arsenal system. And I'm thinking potentially in the Granit Xhaka role in this new Arsenal system that they're playing, where Xhaka's playing the more advanced role in this sort of, when it comes, Thomas Partey's sitting deep, and then you've got Partey on the left, and in this kind of 4-3-3 type thing with Odegaard. He's very, very advanced. And I know Xhaka plays on the left, and Tielemans isn't left-footed, so that could work against it a little bit. But I still think he kind of fits into that role, especially the fact that Odegaard will be drifting and he's left-footed. I don't think it's essential that he needs that whoever comes in to fill this Xhaka position is going to be a lefty. And I think you look at Tielemans there, if you've got Partey as the real sort of holder who can just sit in front and protect the back four, and it just gives Tielemans a little bit of freedom to do what he can in the final third. For me, I think it'd be a fantastic signing for 25 million. If lots of clubs come in for him and it starts rising up to sort of 40, 50, 60, then potentially, look elsewhere. But, if 25 million, I'd love to know your thoughts. I mean, if that is a price that you could potentially get Youri Tielemans for this summer, would he be a good fit for Arsenal? Can you imagine him coming in and fitting into that role, kind of ahead alongside Martin Odegaard and in front of Thomas Partey? Would that be an improvement on what Arsenal got? Look, we don't know if Granit Xhaka is going to go yesterday. Personally, for me, I've got a feeling that Granit will go this summer, and we're kind of seeing the move away from the reliance on Granit Xhaka now with this new system that Arsenal operate in. There's no there's no doubt that he is not playing in a role that is well suited to him. He's doing a job, and he's doing a job well, as he always does, because he's a very professional player, Granit Xhaka. But when you look at that, if this is really what Mikel Arteta is planning in terms of his formation, his system for next season, which appears to be the case, then you think Arsenal need to get someone who fits that role better than Granit Xhaka does at the moment. And for me, Youri Tielemans certainly does that. And if it is 25 million, I think that'd be a fantastic piece of business. So let me know what you guys think. Would that be a good deal? Would you want Youri Tielemans for 25 million, or do you think Arsenal should look elsewhere? And if you do, give me a list of targets. Always interested to see what names you guys want when it comes to filling those positions. Always lots of talk about strikers at the moment, because we know that's what Arsenal are going to look to improve this summer. But they will be, I'm pretty sure they will be signing a midfielder as well. And if it's not Tielemans, who should it be? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, Crystal Palace on Monday night. Huge game. They're all huge games. 10 cup finals to go now. This is it. We've had the little break. It's kind of been stop-start for a couple of months, really, with all the winter breaks, games being postponed, Arsenal not in action for whatever reason. But now we are in the running. We are around 300 metres, and we're coming down to that final straight now. 10 games to go. Can Arsenal get it done? Can they get the top 4 spot? Can they beat Tottenham to that top 4 spot? United still there, definitely. West Ham there or thereabouts as well. Probably looking unlikely now. But still, it's going to be one hell of a run-in, and it all starts on Monday night against Crystal Palace. Arsenal looking in pretty good shape for that game. Mikel Arteta was speaking about it yesterday. He spoke about some of the team news, which I will go through now as some of his comments. He spoke about Saka and Ramsdale. He said Bukayo left the England camp because he had COVID, but he is back at Arsenal now, and he is training, which is good. Given the game's going to be on Monday night, you'd expect Saka will certainly be involved in that one. In fact, he'll certainly be starting, because when Saka's fit, he starts, plain and simple. That's what Mikel had to say. He said Bukayo's feeling good, he's training. If he's still feeling as well as he was yesterday, which was Wednesday, sorry, I got that wrong. Bukayo's feeling good. He's training today, hopefully, if he's still feeling as he was yesterday. And Aaron is a doubt. He's still not feeling great. He hasn't trained yet. So we don't know whether he'll be able to do Monday. Look, I don't think Aaron Ramsdale's going to be involved on Monday. I'd be surprised, given the kind of worry that Arsenal had about his injury. It's not looking that bad. I don't think Ramsdale's going to be out for too long when you speak to people at the club about it. But, you know, they're going to be cautious on it. You're not going to rush Aaron Ramsdale back. Arsenal in a fortunate position. They got a very good goalkeeper in Bernd Leno, who can come in and do a job when Ramsdale is injured. He went on a little bit more, Arteta, about Ramsdale. Said he wanted to play against Villa, but it was a significant injury and he had to take his time. The physio doing everything they can to make him available, but we'll see in the next few days when he starts to do more real training. I just don't think you take a risk with Aaron Ramsdale at this stage. You've got Bernd Leno there. You play Leno on Monday night. You give Ramsdale an extra few days to recover from this, and then potentially bring him back from the Brighton game next weekend. No point taking any risk with that. Tomiyasu, Mikel did give an update on Tomiyasu as well. Again, I'm beginning to think it's very unlikely he's going to be involved. We know that he didn't play in the behind closed doors friendly against Brentford earlier on in the week, which was a sign that, you know, he's still a little bit off. Mikel was asked, is he going to be available to play against Palace? And he said, I think it will be close. He's been training more and more. He has the boys back now, so he'll be joining in some sessions this week, and let's see how it goes. He was then asked about the injury. He said, look, he's been through a lot in the last 2 years with COVID, the amount of games he's played, the transition to a different league with new intensity. It's completely different. So he can find reasons, and hopefully he won't go through this situation again, because especially for him, it's been tough. No doubt it's been tough for Tomiyasu. The longer this goes on, I've said it before, you look back to that Liverpool game when Arsenal rushed him back after the initial thigh injury, and he played that one game in the semi-final in January in the second leg. Was clearly not fit, had his worst performance in Arsenal shirt, and then we haven't seen him since. Obviously, the injury he's got now is a different thigh to the original injury, but still, you look at that decision to play him against Liverpool, and you just think, oh, if you could go back and take that decision again, you absolutely wouldn't. You wouldn't play him in that game. You'd keep Cedric. You'd have just started Cedric Suarez. So hopefully we'll see Tomiyasu back soon. But I've got a feeling again Monday might be too early, and it might be if he is available, it might be bench at the best when it comes to Tomiyasu. But like Ramsdale, could be looking more towards that Brighton game. In terms of Crystal Palace team news, big ones really are about Zaha and Elise. You know, two very Zaha, you'd say Palace's most important player. Elise, fabulous young talent. He's been brilliant for them this season. Player that I think Arsenal really should have looked at. They missed a trick there when they signed him, when Palace got him from Reading for £8 million. But Zaha missed the game for Ivory Coast against England. He had dropped out of that squad with an injury. And Elise's picked up an injury as well. Patrick Vieira was talking about both of them yesterday. He said that they were both doubts. He didn't rule them out. He said they had a chance, but both of them at the moment are still in the medical room, he said. So they're not on the pitch training. And they're going to see how they progress over the next couple of days. So, I mean, obviously it'd be a big bonus for Arsenal if Palace don't have Zaha or Elise. But I think at this stage, you've got to just, if you're Mikel Arteta, you think they're going to play, don't you? You just approach it like they're going to play. And then if they're not, it's a bonus. But if they are, then at least you've prepared that two of the, Palace's best attackers are fit and they're going to be playing in the game. Okay, a few more comments. I thought one specifically on William Saliba, who I spoke about in previous videos, after his very good week, really, that he had, biggest week in his career, you would say. He made his France debut, then made his first France start after that in the South Africa game, turned 21 as well. It's a really good international break for William Saliba, some big moments there. And Mikel was asked about him yesterday, and the fact that he'd made a debut. He was asked if he got in contact with him to say congratulations, basically. He said, I haven't spoken to him since that game, but obviously we are really aware of what he's doing, how he's developing. He is our player, and we're really happy with the decision that we made. He's getting the minutes and the exposure, responsibility, and the growth that at his age was not something we could guarantee him here this season. It makes a lot of sense what is happening with him, and we are glad to see the way he is improving. Now, I wrote a piece about William Saliba last week. I'm not sure if you read it or not. You'll be able to find it. It's on my social medias. It's on Goal as well, obviously. About the Saliba situation and the really big sort of couple of months we've got when it comes to William Saliba and Arsenal and his future. Now, Arsenal absolutely think they made the right deal. What Mikel Arteta said there, I wrote about last week. And, you speak to people at the club, they are absolutely convinced that they made the right decision in letting Saliba go. I know a lot of fans think that he should have stayed, but I think it was pretty clear at the start of the season he wasn't going to be starting week in, week out. Mikel Arteta had made his mind up, then spent the money on Ben White. Gabriel was always going to start, so Saliba was going to struggle for game time. So then you send him out, and to send him to a club like Marseille, which is a great, massive club, playing in a huge stadium, really demanding supporters, one of the best clubs in France, they're playing in Europe, and it has absolutely worked out. Saliba's had a fantastic season, 28 appearances he's got for Marseille in all competitions. They're second in the league. He's broken through into the France senior setup. And so Arsenal are absolutely delighted with how it's going. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that he's going to stay at Arsenal and then we're going to see him next season, because what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks is talks between his representatives and Arsenal, and those are sort of preliminary talks ahead of what's going to happen in the summer when the formal talks start, when they try and decide. What Saliba's camp want to know is what Arsenal's plans for him are, long-term plans, because he's only got 2 years left on his contract. And so you would think if he's going to come back and he's going to feature for Arsenal next season, he's going to need to sign a new deal, because they're not going to want to let one of the best young defenders in Europe go down to the final year of his contract, because they're just not going to get any money for him next year. And when you spent £27 million to bring him in, and then you haven't even played him for a single minute, to then lose him for cheap is just going to look disastrous. So Arsenal need to make a decision on him this season, this summer. It's either give him a new contract and then play him, or you would think sell, get as much money as you can for him, cut your losses and move on. That won't be a popular decision with a lot of people, but if he's not going to sign a deal, then you think they're going to have to sell this summer. And that's the thing. That's what these talks are all going to decide out. Arsenal are going to need to put a plan down in front of Saliba's people and say, this is our plan for him. This is why we've done what we've done so far. This is what we see happening for him over the next few years at Arsenal. He's still a big part of our plans. And this is what we want him to do. And then we want him to sign a new contract. And then it's going to be down to Saliba's people. Do they believe them, first of all? Because a lot of things that Arsenal have done with Saliba has confused him and the Saliba's representatives, believe me. So they're going to have to first of all believe what Arsenal say, and then they're going to have to decide, shall we sign a new contract? Do we see our future at Arsenal? So he's got an awful lot of power now, because he's gone down to the final 2 years left of his contract. So these talks are going to be happening very, very soon, are going to be really interesting, and they're going to determine what happens to Saliba this summer. So one to keep an eye on, and I know you all will, because Saliba is a player of very, very much interest to all Arsenal fans, which isn't always the case with players who are out on loan, but he's the one that everyone wants to know about. So that's what I know, and that's what I think is going to happen over the next few weeks when it comes to Saliba. And interesting comments from Mikel Arteta. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Appreciate your time as always. Please do have a very, very good weekend. I will try and do a video if I can over the weekend, potentially on Sunday, but I don't want to make any promises because I've got lots on with the family this weekend. Actually, no, Sunday I'm playing golf in the morning for my 40th birthday present at the Grove in Hertfordshire, which I'm very much looking forward to. So not going to be a video on Sunday, so apologies for that. But definitely one on Monday morning ahead of the Palace game at Selhurst Park. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll speak to you soon.